I'm doing a little shear scraping to give it a good finish and really go up on the speed now. Yeah, this piece of wood is nice. It's got all sorts of interesting stuff. Yeah, we got a knot here, got some pattern down here, and there's still a little bit flat spot here. Get rid of that. Any more questions? Hope everybody's still awake. Yeah, many years ago, I was at I think back then I still have been called Texas Turner too. I went to two famous Turners demonstrations back to back. I'm not going to name names here. But one guy just kept on turning and didn't say a word. And the other guy was cracking jokes along the way. And I found it very interesting. So I said, well, I guess when I do demo, I'm not going to just shut up and cut. People are going to fall asleep. But I'm not a good joke teller. I use my bow gouge almost 95% of the time on anything. Yeah, that's my preferred tool. Okay, I think I'm pretty happy with the form. Well, you know, you want to see different. One problem with a lot of, especially new turners, is that uh, they don't look at others' work. They just try to come up their own form behind closed doors. And you just have to thumb through magazines, journals, and find what's pleasing to you. And I just happen to like this form, and I really like it a lot. And like I said, almost to a point to my detriment. I end up just making this same shape all the time on all my pieces, but I don't regret it. It's just. I mean, they're not all exactly the same, but they're all kind of variation on the same theme. But yeah, that's the way I do it. And this is really a very nice piece of wood. Much to my surprise. Does that answer the question? So now I'm gonna. Thank you. It's not my shape. So I'm going to hollow it out, but I'm going to clean this up, clean the shoulder part just a bit. Back to the gouge question. I don't really do a whole lot of spindle turning. Occasionally I would do it. And I have some spindle roughing gouges. I don't use them. I just find this the bow gouge as efficient, as easy to use. So yeah, so this is my go-to tool. Personally, I prefer, when I started, there was something called the super flute gouge that was made by Henry Taylor, and basically I stuck with it, and don't ask me what kind of grind I have. Can we switch to the this? So this is what's in general called Irish grind, and it's just a fingernail grind, right? And everybody has their own variation. You know, you have Trent Bosch, Alan Laser, and Richard Raffin. Everybody has their own grind, but they're all variation on the theme, and everybody prefers their own shape. And Stuart Batty has what he calls 40-40, and what you need to do. And, this particular one has a, I don't know if it's going to show up or not, has a parabolic bottom flute. Okay, I've tried both V bottom and round bottom. They don't work for me, so I'm sticking with this parabolic flute. Is that a good answer? And don't copy my grind. In fact, one time I was at a symposium, or I was doing a little demonstration, and someone came up and picked up my tool. He says, "Oh, you got a wrong grind." Well, I'm sorry, who's got a right grind? And the next time I was, many of you know Eli Avasura, and we were doing a demonstration at the same event, and he had already packed up his tool, and he just picked up my tool, and he started cutting, and he was turning tiny little spin tops out of a half-inch dowel, and he used this bow gouge with no complaints at all. So it's really selling the wrist, bottom line. I definitely, I'm not my favorite segment turner. I'd say Oh, it's hard to make a pick. You know, I don't think I have a favorite segment turner. It's basically like trying to compare apples and oranges. Yeah, people have different turning styles and different designs, and so I wouldn't say that I have a particular favorite segment turner. So actually, for the sake of time, I'm going to drill a big hole to start with. And when I say a big hole, I mean a big hole. I'm going to drill a 1 and 3/4 inch diameter hole, and I use carbide tipped Forstner bits. Of course, they're very expensive, and but they're a very good investment. I've had this one for probably close to 30 years now. And the particularly good application with these carbide tip Forstner bits is end grain. Just about any drill bit can cut side grain, but end grain, with end grain, this thing really shines. Okay, let me see how deep I should go. Just about 2 inches. Let me see if this thing actually has metric on it too. Okay. For a big hole like this, you want to slow down your speed a little bit. You know what? I forgot to bring something. The Forstner bits eject shavings very well. You almost don't have to back it out. Once you get real deep, you probably should do that occasionally. So we are just about 1 inch. One and a half. Hoping I'm not going to end up with a funnel. Somehow this feels very deep. All right, That's actually 1 3/4 inch deep. I'm gonna just stop right there. I think I'm done with the tailstock. Probably get it out of the way. Oh no, not right now. Not yet. Probably not necessary. Yeah, we're fine. Again, reading, looking at pictures, and you know, really for segmenting, the sky is the limit. Well, anything really. I mean, even from one piece of wood, from we segmenters jokingly call the other type of turners chunk turners. So even with chunk turning, you can still have a lot of different variations. But the hardest part is coming up with a what we call a featuring, where you want people to focus on, and you just have to look at different designs, different things, and then come up with all sorts of possibilities, and put them on a paper and look at them. So for hollowing, I'm going to use this homemade tool. This is a tool that I made out of this is 3/8 inch O1 steel. That means you harden it by heating it and then dipping it in oil to harden it. Okay, and this one has a cutter mounted on the tip at about 45 degrees. And this one is a 10mm cutter. Probably many of you know Mike Hunter, and this is his cutter. Now they're not flat. They have a cup rim that makes it extremely aggressive. So you don't really want to cut flat. You don't want to scrape flat because it's going to catch, guaranteed. So that's why this thing is mounted on there at an angle. Of course, everybody should know that you don't want to rest this part on the tool rest because it's going to grab. And that's why this thing is gooseneck, because the point that meets the wood it's still in the same axis as your shaft. Okay? That's a very basic kind of thing, but I thought I mentioned it anyway. Whoop, what did I drop? Dropped my cover. So I'm cutting it right about the center. Height-wise. You probably can't see, but with this tool, when you do this kind of cutting, it's not scraping, it's shaving. You get nice shavings out of it. I'm going to move this a little bit closer. And this size bow is about the limit where you can use this tool. And like I said, I made this tool myself, but Michael Hunter has several different models, different sizes, and I'll show you what I have of his design. I'm going to stop this and check and make sure my chucking is still tight. Yes, definitely. But even with this tool, it still cuts rather slowly. Pouring it just so hard. For the outside, on Corian, I still use my steel gouge. Oh, by the way, the bow gouge that I was using on the outside, that's not an M2, and I'm gonna take a look at. I have two of these. And the first one that I had was a Hamlet powdered metallurgy tool, which means it probably has a like 74 or so hardness, Rockwell hardness. And for many years, I love it, but then I think they discontinued it. And in fact, I think the entire Hamlet line was purchased by Henry Taylor, and a couple of years ago I was talking to what's his first name? DeHeer at Kurt DeHeer. And he says, yeah, we have a tool with that same kind of similar, not the same metal, but has similar hardness, and it still has the same flute geometry. So I got a second one. I really love that particular gouge. My very first bow gouge was a small 1/4-inch gouge, and it was Robert Sorby. I could not make it work. So the second one I bought was a super flute. And it has that parabolic flute, and I'm just settled on that. I'm not going to change. And I probably don't grind my tool as much as I should, so they last me a long time. Oh, right here, okay. Actually, this part is even worse than the outside. You can't even see it.